Welcome to another episode of Boss Talk, presented by Inspired by True Events. I'm Rick. I have a special guest to finish the Women Empowerment Month installation. I'm gonna let her introduce herself and say what she has going on because it's
Mm.
really like special.
Thank you, Rick. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much. My name is Kenyatta Turner. I am the founder of Freedom Empire Consulting. I'm basically a behavioral superpowers coach and I coach personal development. My company is called Freedom Empire Consulting, and I help people to build their freedom empires, which is a state of mind more than a place. But I like to say I help them build their freedom empires and then shield their freedom empires. So, where does the shield come in? Well, I work with a company called Legal Shield that offers legal services and identity theft protection for business owners and their families. But I specifically focus on the small business area because they need services and they need help, just like all big businesses do, but they don't have the same resources. And I love absolutely coaching and working with women. I have a couple of programs specifically for them as well. So that's what I do. That's a little bit of what I do.
I was reading your bio and stuff. I was like really Googling you, doing my Google searching in your life. I kept seeing coach, influence, and protect. It kept popping up. What does that mean?
I love that that kept popping up because that's supposed to keep popping up. So, coach, influence, protect. The coach piece is because I'm a behavioral superpowers coach. I work with clients one on one. I do group coaching. I host masterminds. I do trainings, and it's all around behavioral science. So, what I like to say is that I help my clients to decode their human behavior so that they can optimize their performance. And I do that through coaching. Everything starts, though, from the behavioral standpoint. Now, there are 10 behavioral superpowers. One of them is called an influencer. That is my behavioral style. So when I took the exercise, it came out that I'm an influencer. So that's what the second word is influence, because that is what I actually have always done. The influencer in the realm of the behavioral superpowers is really a person who loves being in front of people, easy to talk to, loves, is a visionary, always looking to create something or help others create what they want to create. Well, when I took the exercise and that came out as my profile, it really gave me an answer and an understanding of who I've always been, but I couldn't put my finger on it. So I don't mean influencer like a social media influencer. I mean influencer of a person who inspires and has a way with words and people to influence them to be motivated if they use that influence for good. Okay. The next word is protect, and that is the legal shield. So coach, influence, and protect.
I was like, wow, I wonder what does it mean? Like, is it a story behind it? And it definitely was the test you did. I
Yes.
also seen a 3 day behavioral vision challenge.
Yes, it starts tomorrow. I'm so excited. So I in part of my coaching, I do a mastermind, a 12-week program where we read two books and I coach you through those books. So there's a difference between reading a book and doing a book. So we've all read books before, right? We read them, we're like, oh, that's a good book, and we put it on a shelf. And then that's it. We usually don't go back to them. We usually don't implement what the book said. But in my mastermind, we read two books. One is called The 12-Week Year, and the second one is called High Performance Habits. So it's a 12-week mastermind that is designed to help people understand how to execute their goals, right? Most people's issues don't come from not knowing how to do something, it's their execution that lacks. So, and oftentimes we think on a 12-month calendar. Well, the 12-week year is designed to help you think in short little chunks of time. 12 weeks, 12 weeks, 12 weeks, 12 weeks, not quarters, because a quarter is still based on a calendar year, right? But 12-week chunks. So getting back to the point, the question you asked about a 3 day challenge is the 3 day challenge is free. It's a gift of service that I'm giving people an opportunity to learn their behavioral style as well as starting the process of creating a vision and a vision statement that's compelling enough to then set three goals that you need to accomplish in the next 12 weeks that's aligned with your vision. So it's a behavioral vision challenge. Here's what I know, Rick, is that many of us set out and set goals, but goals without a compelling vision don't normally get accomplished. We lose interest, we get bored, we procrastinate. Someone else tells us it's a dumb idea and we don't do it, right? All these things, these self limiting beliefs will stop us. But if you have a compelling vision, which is where you should start, then it doesn't matter what anybody else says. It doesn't matter that you tried and failed. You're just going to try and fail again, right? Because the vision is bigger than all of the crap you have to go through to get there. So I know this because I'm a coach and I coach people on it, but I also know this from my own experience that if I'm not completely bought in to the thing that I'm supposed to do for my life and my family and my legacy, my freedom empire, then it's very easy for me to get derailed and then not be as focused. So I'm going to give people in 3 days a chance to understand their behavioral superpower, because how you do anything is how you're going to do everything. I'm an influencer, outgoing, fast paced influencer all day, every day, but I'm not very structured. I don't like structure. So no matter what you tell me I should be doing, I'm always going to be coming up with a new idea, a new way to do it. And I'm very spontaneous because I'm wired that way. And that is my power. That's also my kryptonite, because that means I need to get help with certain areas like that. I need to have someone checking on me like, Kenyatta, did you do that yet? Nah, I didn't do that yet. Dang it. Like we as business owners, we juggle all of these things, right?
Yeah.
As women, we juggle all of these things. So the challenge is really going to be around, let's figure out what your behavioral style is. I'm going to help you decode yours and understand all the other 10, because you're going to be working with the other 10, right? The other nine. Then focus on your vision and craft an outline for it. And then before you leave that challenge, you will have come up with 3 goals that are aligned with that compelling vision. Now, whether or not you join my 12-week mastermind after that, because that's going to be starting in a couple of weeks, it doesn't matter. You'll still have a framework that can help you move forward without having to join my mastermind. So I'm going to bring you enough value to where it'll be worth anyone's time who participates.
I think that is worth everybody's time, to be honest. Some like there's a lot of people who don't know themselves, like
Right,
on a daily basis. With all your
right.
studies, what do you believe women struggle the most with everything you've been doing?
Couple things. One, self-confidence, um, feeling that they're capable of accomplishing what it is that they want in the face of all the people who may have told them that they couldn't. And I would think the next thing is, gosh, that's literally the first thing, is that, and really the negative self-talk. I mean, the women who wind up coming to me are usually in a place where they want something, they know they're built for more, but they don't know how to get it, and they've never really been, not never really, they're seeking personal growth and development. They don't want just a quick fix. They want something that is sustainable, that can, like a transformation, if you will, in the way of thinking. Because I'm the type of coach that teaches you how to think. Another one of my programs is called Behave and Grow Rich for Women. And why is that called that is because, again, it's a 12-week mastermind and we read 2 books. There's a theme here, which is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And we read Think and Grow Rich for Women, that was written by Sharon Lecter. Now, here's the reason why I do both of those books. One, Think and Grow Rich by itself does not need any other book. It's timeless. Every other personal development book that's ever been written, in my opinion, was written on the concepts in Think and Grow Rich. But people don't read that book. Not to say people don't. Some people, I mean, a lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. And when I ask them why, they'll say, "Well, I tried to read that book, and that was too deep. That was too deep for me. That was too much, or I didn't understand it, and this and that." And then I read Think and Grow Rich for Women. And so I talked to women who said, well, I read Think and Grow Rich for Women, or I hadn't heard of it, but then if I did read it, it was an easier read, right? Well, Think and Grow Rich for Women doesn't replace Think and Grow Rich. It's like a paraphrasing of it, right? But it's modernized, and it's written from a women's perspective. So it's great, but it doesn't replace the first one. So I'm making women read both at the same time. And in it, I'm experiencing them saying things like, yeah, this one chapter was really difficult, but when I read and Think Grow Rich for Women, I felt like it was easier for me to understand. Well, here's the thing. My philosophy on that, okay, is that as a woman, if she is saying that, then she's almost resolving herself to say that the way it was written originally is too difficult for her to understand, right? Again, it goes back to that lack of self-confidence, because all of the successful women that Sharon Lecter talks about in Think and Grow Rich for Women, all of them talk about how they read the original book and how that was the book that helped them get to where they wanted to go. It wasn't the Think and Grow Rich for Women that helped them get there. It was the original book. So I'm really firm on that, is that what I know is this, and I will say this is for women and people that I work with. And I'm going to give you a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. It's fitting that today we're doing this interview. There's a quote where he says that nothing pains, or no, wait, I'm sorry. Rarely do we find men/women who will do the hard, solid thinking. He says we're often looking for half-baked solutions and basically shortcuts. And then he says nothing pains people more than having to think, because it's hard to literally sit down and get in your own head and think about what's swimming around in there, right? And then to do something with it. That's why many people don't write down their goals, because then they're accountable to them. They feel like they're accountable. Like, if I write this down, that means I'm probably going to have to do something to make it happen, right? And
Definitely.
another thing, yeah, because that means work, right? Another thing is that people will oftentimes I'll ask women and men, what do you want? And I get deer in the headlights. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? It is hard for people to come up with what they want, because instantly they start thinking that whatever it is that they want, because like the first thing that pops into their head, they're like, I don't know. I don't know if I can get that, right? They stop themselves before they even get started going, well, if they don't know the how, then they're feeling like, well, I can't say I want that because I don't know how I'm going to get that. That's wrong. No, you need to say you want it, and then let the universe do what it's going to do, along with you coming up with a definite plan and organized planning and having a mastermind and being around like-minded people, getting the knowledge where you don't have it, doing all the visualization and the faith that you have to have and believe that you're going to get it. That is something that I find people they run into a wall all the time with that, because it's too hard for them to think freely, because they're oppressing themselves, and that is a challenge with women I run into all the time. I mean, it really truly is. If they've been raised in an environment where they weren't allowed to have free thought, or allowed, or encouraged. I mean, I grew up in a household. My mom was a very strong, independent woman. And so that's what I grew up with. I mean, I grew up with my mom constantly telling me I could be anything I wanted to. I could do anything I wanted. Affirmations written all over the house. Attitude is everything was her favorite slogan. I'd be mad as a kid coming in, mad about some dumb thing, and she'd be like, well, attitude is everything. And I'm like, oh, because you don't want to be told that. you
For
know?
real.
So imagine the different places that people, what they're exposed to as they grow. So I love what you guys are doing, because you're putting this out there to give people, because sometimes people don't know about personal development. They've never been told, they've never heard of the books I'm talking about. And that's not just women, but that's everyone. But with women, I find, I think the lack of confidence, and I know the second thing I was going to say, guilt around wanting to do something for themselves that isn't in direct relation to their significant other or their children.
Oh, that's
They
deep.
they feel like, wait, I can't want this for myself because it doesn't include them, and therefore I'm a bad mom or I'm a bad wife or something like that. And so here's what I have to share with them, is that when you create your aspirational vision, if it's not, it has to be compelling to you, with or without those other components. Meaning, not to say that something would happen to your spouse or your children, but it can't be about them, because they can't do the work for you.
Yes.
So, as an example, I teach at a community college people how to a personal development course before they get their GEDs, right? And I'll ask the students, "Why are you here to get your GED?" And oftentimes the answer might be, "Well, I want to provide a better life for my family." I'm like, "Okay." And or someone will say, "Well, I want to set an example for my kids because I want them to stay in school, and I don't have a GED." And I'm like, "Okay." Or I want to make my parents proud. Okay. All right. So these are the reasons. And I tell them that's not enough, because here's the thing: your kids don't care if you have a GED or not. They don't. And they're like, well, yeah, I need a GED so I can get a better job so I can take care of them. I'm like, listen, your kids just want to know if there's food on the table or not. They don't care what kind of job you had to get it. They're just hungry, you know. So you can say I want to get my GED from them, right, or to them, and they're like, "Oh, mom, that sounds great," but they're gonna go back to their business. They don't, you know what I mean? It doesn't affect them the way that it affects you, and they can't show up and take your test. You know, the parents being proud, okay, that's great, but they can't show up and take your test for you, right? You have to know why at your core level, what does that really mean for you? And are you willing to go through the brick wall to get it? Because as soon as you get to the math class and you don't like math, you're going to drop out.
Yeah.
So your vision, again, has to be bigger than the math class, to go, look, I'm going to get you this math class. I don't care what, right? So the same thing with women when we're having conversations with them about, okay, I need you to craft your vision. Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? And what do you want to have? And right away, they're already like, well, I should put my husband's name down on this. And I'm like, no, 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 you're not listening to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Who do you want to be? Well, who are you? Well, they oftentimes say, well, I'm a mom. Okay. And, well, I'm a mom. Okay. Who were you before you were a mom? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? But again, we take on these identities of life in that way, where we lose ourselves and taking care of other people, where we forget. Now, I'm not speaking because I'm a mom and I'm not married right now. I have been, but I'm not, you know. So I'm speaking from a place of what I hear, what I understand, and what I see all the time, all the time, where I run into women who seem to have that same concern, which is, I'm not used to doing things for myself, Kenyatta. Like, I'm used to taking care of everyone else, and I don't know how to, I'm afraid that if I do this, then they won't like that or whatever, or they wind up growing in such a way that it causes a rift with the family or with other people, because all of a sudden mom is doing what she wants to do. And they're like, hey, what about me? And she's like, look, I'm taking care of myself right now. But since she's been taking care of so much of them, they don't like it. So then when they don't like it, she gets pushback. And then that pushback lowers the confidence, lowers you know what I mean? Like, that's why you constantly have to be, and this is not just for women, this is people. We have to be constantly in a state of personal growth and development. We can't let the negatives come in. We have to be diligent at putting up our shield around ourselves to be like, nope, I know what I'm doing. I know what my goals are. I know what my vision is. I'm going to get it done. I don't care what any of you people say. And I know what I'm built to do. Imagine if someone like Martin Luther King, as an example, listened to all the people who said he could not do what he did. It's no different for starting a business. It's no different for losing weight. None of that's different. The same principles apply, which you have to first think it, then you have to believe it, then you have to start doing the things that are aligned to making it happen. But many people, as you probably have found in your profession with interviewing and talking to people, and the experience that a lot of people don't follow through.
And
And
I also seen well,
I think I've
fear
been
kept
talking for a
popping
long
up.
time. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I was really in tune. Fear kept popping up in a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people's testimonies, because they
Mm-hmm.
said everybody put their fears on me, and it made me start to realize or start to feel fear or be fearful of the next step I had to take.
Right.
And that's why when I heard that, I'm like, no, I need a woman empowerment month. Um, because I want everybody to support females, women in general.
Mm-hmm.
You ladies are the lifeline of this world.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like people forgot that. And we just have to keep pushing the narrative of woman is queen and kings do need a queen behind them. Every king ever in the world in history had a queen, a strong queen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they don't understand that the queen's really what runs things, you know.
Usually
Like
it usually it is.
I
Mm-hmm.
have a girlfriend. She's my queen, and like
Mm-hmm.
she runs it. You know, I'm just here just to I'm a centerpiece. You know,
Yeah.
I just
Well,
push her
you were
forward.
just as you were just as powerful though. That is the thing. The power can be equally distributed, and it should be. And but then there's ebb and flow, right? There's no real balance. It's sometimes an intentional imbalance. Sometimes someone needs to be taking care of that, and someone else is over here taking care of this. But as a team, you can come together and both both bring both people bring to the situation. That is a mastermind. Napoleon Hill talks about one of the most powerful mastermind is between in a he says man and woman, but I believe it's whatever type of couple, intimate couple that is, right? That is the most powerful type of mastermind because you have so many levels of connection that makes it unstoppable if you can both align the frequencies within you. And that's the frequencies of thought, that's imagination and creativity and goal setting, and like, oh my gosh, I mean, that's such a powerful thing. So you're absolutely right about doing things to help remind people about that contribution that women make, to the world. And unfortunately, we know we've got a lot of work to do, right? In a lot of regards. I mean, we think about prejudging and filtering. One of the classes I teach is on communication, and one of the barriers is prejudging and filtering. And what that means is when you take your own values, your own systems, your own ideas about things, and you um, prejudge someone else because of how you feel. So you don't even listen to them, right? So that's a really big barrier to communication, right? Like, so people prejudge on all different kinds of things: race, religion, sexual orientation, color of skin, gender, whereas barely 100 years ago, women couldn't even vote.
Yeah.
That's not very long. And that's a prejudgment of going, oh, you're a woman, therefore it doesn't matter what you think about politics. Okay, which is ridiculous, we know that, but that's how people thought. And so it's a reshaping that really will take more generations because it was so ingrained. But what the things that you're doing specifically are in alignment with helping that reframing of thought, because we're here anyway, we're going to do what we're going to do anyway.
Yeah.
But think about all the women who have been conditioned to believe these things because people have taught them as they were growing up or treated them as such. Again, I was a woman who was not, but I grew up with a mother who was raised that way. But when she got around 25, 26 years old, she realized, oh no, no, no. Oh no, 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 no. And she packed us up and moved us away from there. You know what I mean? She's like, no, I know I'm built for more. I know I can, you know what I'm saying? And she raised us in an environment that fostered that type of mentality. But not every woman's raised that way, right? So the ones who aren't, I've heard some pretty crazy stories, obviously, of women who were, I'm just like, that's what your parents told you? Oh my God, let's get to work on clearing that stuff out of your head. But some women literally are taught and told, what they can and can't do, and they grow up believing it. And so every one of them that I can touch and shake that out of them, that's what I try to do.
I was raised by a single parent. She raised three kids by herself, and she always taught us like, if at the end of the day, you all you need. If you down to your last man is you. She's the strongest person I ever known.
Mhm.
I love my mom to death. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah,
And I seen her sacrifice herself to to get us what we need, what we want,
yes,
and now we older, she's doing what she needs to do.
yeah.
And I'm super proud of her. I don't tell her enough.
Yeah, tell her, and my mom, the same thing. She raised me and my sister basically by herself. She shared responsibilities a little bit back and forth. When I was younger, my father passed away when he was 39 and I was 16. And that taught me a lot of lessons during that process. And it was just my mom. So now it's just my mom. I don't have my dad either. But watching her go through what she had to go through to provide for us, to I didn't agree with everything as a kid because we never do, right? And you learn what to do from them, and also you might learn some things that you would do differently with your family, right? And that's okay as well. But knowing what she had to go through to create the type of lifestyle for us, and that she continues to do to create it for herself now that we're grown, I mean, it's huge. It's huge, as a single mom, figuring that stuff out. And just much gratitude for her. And like I said, the lessons that she taught me, while I didn't always understand them as a child, I now not only understand them, but I teach them. You know, because the kids, we rebel against things. We don't even know why. We're just like, no,
That's
right?
really dope. That's really dope.
Hmm.
With the last question here, what do you want your legacy to be?
Hmm. Well, I want my legacy to be one that really stems from the freedom empire, right? Again, it is a frame of mind, and I want to leave the world better because I came this way. Meaning, I've given people an opportunity to learn about themselves at a level with the behavioral piece. That's really where my foundation is, at a behavioral level, because it literally can help them even at the age of 12. We're starting a charter school that's based around this because we know that if we teach this to children, like if I knew I was an outgoing, fast paced influencer at 12, and my mom knew that, because she's already told me, because she knows her style, she's an influencer too. We were going like this all the time because we both were trying to influence each other, right? My sister was a facilitator, which is a different type of profile, right? So my sister was doing her thing. Me and my mom are doing this, and my mom just thinks that I'm just being the unruly, kid. But no, I was doing what I was wired to do. Now that unruly loudmouth thing in me makes me money. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, so my legacy wants to be getting this information out to people. I want a billion people to know what their behavioral superpower is because it will change their life at any age. And I want to be known for that. Like me and my team with Dream Smart Academy, I want to be known as the people who brought this level of behavioral analysis to the masses because there's the discs, there's the Myers-Briggs, there's the Colbys, there's the, strength finders, there's all these personality tests, which they're great at what they do, but they do not measure what we measure. And they cannot subsist, they can't give it to a 12-year-old and then never have to take it again. No, those tests have to be taken again and again. They're measuring something different. I want my legacy to be the ones who brought behavioral superpowers to the entire world, and with that comes freedom.
That's definitely dope. That I really want to get into that. I'll be 100% honest. I'm going
Join
to.
the challenge.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing the challenge tomorrow. Um, with on the behalf of Inspired by True Events Network, I really want to tell you thank you for giving us the privilege to interview you. I heard you on Clubhouse, and I was like, yeah, I need some personal development. Um, I just want to say thank you, and just keep going. You have
Absolutely.
special. You have a gift that I don't know where you're gonna go, but it's gonna be big. Um, just
Thank
want to say
you.
thank you again.
Thank you. I appreciate what you're doing and your sincerity and honesty and inviting me, to come and share my message. And hopefully, there's someone out there listening that can get some sort of value out of this. Please, connect with me. Freedomempireconsulting.com. That's my website. It's easy. You can find me on LinkedIn. The challenge is Freedom Empire Consulting / Behavioral Vision Challenge. You can go there and register for it. Even if you can't watch all days live, you'll have an opportunity to get the replays. But the homework that I'm going to give you is going to be powerful. It absolutely is. And I have courses for men and for women. So the Behave and Grow Rich for women, that's just women. But my behavioral mastermind where we read the 12-week year in high performance habits, that's everybody. And that's just a foundation. And it could bring some value and personal development to you or anyone who is interested.